Annyeonghaseyo. Welcome to week number 16 here in South Korea. These video blogs, as always, are brought to you by a generous scholarship from the Benjamin A. Gilman International Foundation and the United States Department of State. Okay, so, formalities aside, this is the last week of regular classes before finals and before the hectic packing and such before as everybody starts to leave and head for home or head somewhere else over the break if they're staying for another semester. My stay here is only a semester, so I will be one of the ones doing lots of packing and such. So the first thing I thought would be kind of interesting and important to talk about this week is that some things in Korea can be pretty confusing. Specifically that I know they have a good public transportation system here. The locals use it a lot, you know. It's an easy way to get around if you understand it. The train is easy enough. If you have a map, you're set. The buses, on the other hand, were very, very confusing. So I went to Suwon in search of the toilet building, which I found, and that will be one of the blog updates this week, is part about Mr. Toilet House. Yes, it actually exists. But the buses were kind of hard to figure out in Suwon, because one of the buses that was supposed to go out that direction was bus 92. And I jumped on one, but it turned out it wasn't going to the right station. I think it was actually just stopping 2 stops before the high school stop that I needed to get off to get to the toilet house. But I saw several other bus 92s driving by, and none of them were going to the same destination. They were all going to different points along the same line. So that was really confusing. I gave up on trying to find the correct bus to get there, walked a good 15 minutes or so to get back to the Suwon train station, and then just took a taxi. So let that be a lesson to you that the best way to get around until you really, really learn how the buses work, and apparently that's even confusing for Koreans a bit. This is the best way to figure it out is either to bring your DK, which means designated Korean, so a Korean friend in other words, who can like translate for you or understands the system a little bit better, or to take a taxi because they have GPS. And they'll just take you where you want to go, as long as it's not ridiculously far. It took my taxi driver about 5 minutes of staring at the official brochure to understand, oh, I know where this place is, and the taxi fare wasn't bad. Toilet house itself was like out in the middle of nowhere, almost. But anyway, that's to be saved for a text blog. Another thing that you'll want to keep in mind is sometimes information you'll see on the internet or brochures or whatever may not be entirely accurate, because on the website for the toilet house it mentioned that you could get off at a university station that's 2 stations north of Suwon Station, and take exit 4, and that will lead you to the some of the buses that go out towards the toilet house. However, upon reaching the station in question, I found that there were only 2 exits. So, not exactly what it was being described on the site. I ended up going back to Suwon Station. They have an exit 4, and that leads to buses. I think maybe they were just confused over that. I don't know. The important thing is I did find where I was looking for, so there's always alternative ways to do things here. So, but again, public transportation, at least for the trains, is pretty easy to figure out. And once you learn the vocabulary, like karataseo, which means to transfer, or taseo, take that train, right on that train, and hoson, which is the counter word for subway trains, then you'll be able to figure the trains out even better. Buses, I honestly have no idea. So that's it for segment 1. Segment 2, I'll be just discussing Christianity and some of the effects it has on the culture, at least that I've noticed. So stay tuned for that.